Welcome to crackingmba.com. Today we are going to talk about analogies. So we will discuss the different types of questions that are asked in analogies section in the verbal ability section and how we can solve these different types of questions. So typically what you're expected to do is identify a relationship between a pair of words which is given in the question and identify the similar or dissimilar relationship among the options depending on what is being asked in the question. Okay, so let's take an example here. So we are saying puppy is to dog and the question is saying find a similar relationship among the options. So a puppy is a small version of a dog. Okay, we know that. So we need to find the similar analogy. So if we look at the options, kitten is to cat is something that is similar. Similarly, horse is to colt. A colt is a small horse. So the others are typically not fitting into this relationship. Now, if we look at option A and C, we can find that A is a better fit because it represents the same kind of a relationship. So, puppy is a small dog. Similarly, kitten is a small cat. Okay, so the option is A. So that's how we need to find a similar relationship. What is a general strategy for solving analogy questions? First, read the pair of words in the question and try to read in your mind as A is to B. For example, puppy is to dog, and similarly, in the options you should say kitten is to cat or mare is to goose, and so on. Define the logical relationship between the first two words. What could be the relationship? What are we trying to, how could they be possibly related, right? And then try to find a similar relationship among the options. So in our case, we say puppy is a small dog. So the possible options in the options which can match are kitten, cat, and in the earlier question we could see that it could be child, adult as well. So, but child and adult is very generic, right? So here we're going for kitten and cat because it's more specific and relates to the question. If an exact match is found, well and good, like in this case. But if it is not, then refine the relationship in the question and again search for the options. Now let us look at the common type of relationships that exist in analogies. There could be synonyms, there could be antonyms, intensity, part to whole, actor to action, cause and effect, member of a group, definition, age, and tool and action. So let's look at examples of all of these so that you get a better picture of how to solve these kind of questions. First is synonyms. The synonyms express the same meaning. Okay, so for example, we have on the right side slander and disparagement. So both of them mean are similar in meaning. So from the option, we need to find out what could mean the same from the options. Sorrow and death, commendation and praise, pain and anger, and reproof and confirmation. So we can find that commendation is nothing but praising. So this is the two words which have a similar meaning, and hence this is the right option. Next is antonyms. Antonyms basically means opposite in meaning. So the two words mean opposite to each other, and hence from the option we need to find those two words which are opposite in meaning to each other. For example, the option is saying beautiful is to ugly. Okay, beautiful is opposite of ugly. From the options we can find that good is opposite of bad. So directly we can pick up this option and move on. You don't have to look at all the others and try to find out their relationships. If you can find a direct fit, just go for it and move on. Next is intensity. So the two words express some kind of intensity, okay, between each other. Let's look at an example. We are saying murmur and shriek. Murmur means to say something silently, and shriek is to express something very violently. So if we look at the options, we can find option C or third option is the best fit because crack means to split very small, to be a small split, whereas smash is to entirely break up something. A crack would be a small crack in a window. For example, smashing is to entirely dismantle the entire window. So option 3 most expresses the intensity of the initial two words very likely. Let's now look at part to whole. So part to whole we are saying is one is a part of the other. For example, let's look at the example of sentence is to paragraph. Similarly, what could be the options, right? A scene is a part of a play. Okay, so this is the best option because the others don't fit in. For example, actor and cast, they don't express the same meaning. Symphony and orchestra, No. Dictator and oppressed. Oppressed, dictator oppresses someone, but that's not it. Actor to action or profession. So this expresses what an action is performed or profession of a actor. So let's look at an example here. We're saying teacher educates. Okay. So teacher is to educate. Similarly, we need to find any other actor and their action. Similarly, lawyer and legislate. Lawyer doesn't do legislation. Mechanic does repair, which makes sense. Musician and orchestra. Musician is a part of an orchestra, so that doesn't work out. Dictator and oppressed, so this also doesn't work out. So the correct option is mechanic, and mechanic does repairing, just as the question expresses the relationship of teacher does education or teacher educates. Cause and effect. The next one is cause and effect. We are saying one causes the effect of another. So we need to be very particular about what order the cause and effect is. So if in this question we are saying shiver is to cold, so we're saying someone is shivering because of cold. So the same order should be expressed in the options. So irritate because of apathy, no. Teller because of bang, no. Angry because of irritation, irritate or anger because of irritation, this makes sense. Itch because of scratch. So it's the other way around, scratch because of itch, so that doesn't work out. So the option is 3. The next is part of a member of a group. So you need to know these group relationships. Okay, so you need to say what is a part of a larger group. So shoal of fish. So when you say fish as a group is considered as a shoal. Similarly, from these options, immediately you need to find out which one can express a group. For example, a flock of sheep. So this is directly the correct answer, because a group of sheep is called a flock. Next one is a definition. So here you just need to know the direct meaning of this word. Philanthropy means to give away something selflessly. So philanthropist and altruism. So altruism means to give away selflessly. So philanthropist and altruism mean similar. And similarly, you need to find what makes similar sense. If you look at the options, magnanimous and kind are the best option, is the best option. Next is age. So we're given a question in which an age kind of relationship is expressed. So for example, the young of a cow is a calf. Similarly, what are the other relationships existing here? If we see all the others, they're pretty much like a group, but tadpole is to frog is the best option. Tool and action. If we see the relationship that is existing between the two words is that there's a tool and it performs an action. Scissors cuts. Similarly, let's look at the option. Pierce, pin, no. Pin pierces. Tape measure, yes, sounds correct. Car maintenance, no. Fishing net, no. Net does fishing, right? So the correct order of the sequence is tape and measure. So tape is a tool and action is measure. So there are a lot of many other kind of relationships, but you should be able to use this as a baseline so far and identify the relationship and look at the options. Some of the common tips for analogies are you should be very strong in vocabulary. For example, if we've seen the option where we said magnanimous and being kind, or philanthropy and altruism. So these are all words which require you to know the meanings of them. So vocabulary has to be very strong. Try to maintain a vocabulary of at least 2000 words. Learn about the different groups of animals such as shoal of fish and flock of sheep. Learn about the young of various animals such as colt for a horse, tadpole to a frog, and so on. Learn about the definitions, like philanthropy means to give away. Over and above all, read any kind of literature that improves your ability to understand the analogies. Thank you. You can also take a mock test on our Android app. Thank you.